This show contains views and opinions that may not be suitable for certain audiences.
Okay.
Listener discretion is strongly advised. A friendly
This better not
reminder,
be
Mary
dying.
Jane
I think
edibles
it's the
are not a
newest-
substitute
I think
for
it's the
actually
newest
paying
one
your
I've
Lyft
got.
driver. Don't forget to
And
tip
that
your
was
bartenders, you
within the
filthy
last year.
fucking animals. And if you've got kinks, we've got links. Don't forget to
It's everybody hard
subscribe,
rate. Better
put
not
on
be
your
dying
seatbelt,
yet.
and enjoy the ride.
Alright, so are we all recording?
Yep.
Alright. I didn't hear Scully. Scully, you're recording?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Alright, starting in... Oh, wait. Before we start, do the clap thing to do the syncing up. So do that in 3, 2, 1.
All right.
All
Getting
right.
there.
Hopefully that'll do it. All right, now starting the show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to Thespian Talk. I am your host, Gomer the Ranting Thespian, and with me we have Scolipendra,
Hello.
we have Michelle,
Hello.
and we have a guest this week. If you're a fan of Rosenthorn, who's also on the co-host roster of this show, he does streams throughout the week, usually playing just whatever games come to mind or what have you. I know he does tag team and all that, but most importantly and most relevant to this conversation, he also has a podcast called Randime, which I am also on, and we record at least once a week towards the end of the week. And we have a guest this week, and today's guest is one of my co-hosts on Randime. Say hello, Astra.
Hi.
Yes. So Astra is also a streamer. Who I've been to a couple of them, and they're pretty cool. And you're also an artist, right?
I am, yes.
Yay! Because apparently that's what the fates have decided I need more of in my life, more artists. and in fairness, you can never have too many, so that is not a bad thing at all. Especially since I'm dating one, I'm kind of, I don't know where we are on another one. Just So Astra, we're gonna let you take the crack at everything first, and tell us about yourself, whatever you feel you want to share. You know, anything from what your favorite pop drink is to, I don't know, your deepest darkest secret. You don't have to share that. That is a joke.
Like you said, I'm an artist. I'm kind of a streamer. I need to get back into it. I'm also in college, so that's starting up this week, so we'll see about how my schedule can go from there.
Yeah.
My favorite pop drink is Coke Zero. If I can ever get it in stock, I really like the vanilla Coke Zero. But it has not been in stock for like a year now.
Oh, no.
So not at least in my area. But other than that, I was actually just watching Sweeney Todd before this.
Ooh.
I watched a couple videos with a friend last night about the movie adaptations of Les Miserables and Cats and why they're so bad. From purely from like a musical standpoint.
Yeah.
And learned some things that made me have to take like 5 minutes. Can I talk about the Les Miserables thing just really quick?
Oh yeah, go for it.
When they were recording the movie for Les Miserables, oh no, I'm forgetting his Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
There it is. His character, like, he's got a character in that movie, and he wanted to look like Wolverine for a part of the movie where he doesn't even take his shirt off, first of all. So to do that, he deprived himself of water for 36 hours and then tried to sing.
Why? Oh,
No.
And I was watching the video with my friend last night, and he was like, "Do you want to pause it so you can take a minute?" And I was like, "Yes, I need to."
As a performer, as somebody who has sang and performed on stage and all of that stuff, that is not a good idea.
No, it's
Like,
not.
I'm assuming I'm assuming he was taking, he was drinking other things. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because if he was going without water for 36 hours, he would not be here.
Yeah, because like the idea, it's something that you can see in Hollywood and a bunch of places, but like there's this idea for like particularly muscular men where they like deprive themselves of water. It's a big thing in bodybuilding shows too.
Ooh.
Because it makes the muscles pop out more. But that's because you have no water in your body.
Wow.
And it's super harmful.
So I'm just thinking back to like I'm sure everybody's seen like old bodybuilding, heavyweight bodybuilding pictures of like Arnold Schwarzenegger or what have you. And I'm thinking I'm like, oh my god, did he do that? Oh fuck,
They
man.
probably did.
Oh.
I went on a rant about it to my friend last night, but it's also part of why I hate one specific scene in Age of Ultron so much. And that is when Captain America is doing like the chopping like the wood outside. Because Chris Evans also had to do that like water thing. And on top of that, they gave him a shirt that was like 2 sizes too small, so you could see his muscles through the shirt.
Of course they did.
Oh, God.
And it makes me angry. But
aren't these like Marvel MCU movies meant more for general audiences? You know, rating aside, but they're meant for wider audiences, I guess I should say.
Yeah,
so you would, something you could potentially take your kids to go see. And it's like, I know you want to try and recreate the comics, but we don't need to Rob Liefeld this shit, okay?
Yeah.
That's a reference I don't get to make very often.
I actually got to make a Liefeld disease joke the other week, and I was like, yay!
Oh, lordy. Oh. But yeah, so he did that for Les Miserables. Oh, God. I'm curious, what series were you watching?
There's a YouTuber on, YouTube, called Sideways, one word, and they do, like analysis videos on like a lot of stuff. One of the ones I was watching earlier today was about the music in the How to Train Your Dragon movies, and how the first 5 minutes of the first movie sets up the entire like sound landscape for the rest of the series.
Wow.
It establishes like themes for like characters, establishes a tone, kind of like a bunch of really, really good stuff. It's really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
So all the leitmotif is set up in the first 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Cool. I haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon yet, but I have been watching some Sideways videos myself. I was watching his live-action Disney videos, and they're kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the Frozen stuff he's done, and then the algorithm's like, oh, you like this dude? Here, check this stuff out. I haven't seen the Les Mis one, but it is in my tabs to watch.
Yeah, and oh god, you brought up like Cats or whatever, and I'm sitting there thinking, Diva of Musical Hell just recently did an episode on Cats. Oh boy. I watched that one while I was drunk. Like, oh no.
The film was a review.
Well, the review, because that's when Rosen just happened to play it, but if I were to watch the film, I would probably have to make a trip to Illinois first. And for those who don't get the reference, Illinois has legal weed. So, yeah.
I thought just because that's where Becky lives.
Well, there is that too. I mean, I didn't say how long it was going to take me up there now, did I?
No.
Oh, but no. Oh, but yeah, I will say this, since I did bring up substances, use them responsibly, you idiots.
Please do.
Yes.
So
yeah. So
the same director that directed Cats is also the one that did Les Miserables. Yeah, and he should never be allowed to touch a musical again.
Yeah, based on what I've seen, no.
They're both just so messed up. Even like Cats, like on a fundamental level, he messed up on the music. Because like there's 2 scenes that he talks about in the video. One is like where in the actual like stage musical and everything, what was it, like Grisella or something?
Grisabella, I think?
Grisabella, that's what it was. Grisabella like so badly just wants to be a Jellicle cat again. And so like the line that she sings, like, in the, like, I guess, reprise of Memories towards the end of the show is, like, touch me, it's so easy to leave me. She just wants to be touched because, like, that's how they accept each other.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie, the main character that they added, which didn't need it to be added, Victoria, who's the main character, goes to reach out and touch her, and she shies away from it.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, in the, like, stage musical, she's constantly reaching out to people, and they just shy, like, they cringe away, essentially.
There's
a lot wrong with that movie.
Yeah.
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 Oh, lordy. But yeah, so is there anything else you wish to share, or like just in general, like about who you are, what you do, what have you?
I mean, art. I did work as a graphic designer for a bit. I would like to get back to that job, but I haven't been able to over the last year because of,
Yeah. The COVID.
Yeah.
We aren't monetized to begin with, so the COVID.
But we've been, my dad and I, we have been just kind of like holed up at home. I'm in college. I'm pursuing a degree in social work.
Cool.
But yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So yeah. So I guess just to I guess to kind of pivot off of that. Scully, how have you been the last week, man?
Been alright. Kind of worried about the shit that's going down in America, but I mean, isn't anyone? I mean, isn't everyone?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other than that, I've been fine.
Yeah. How about you, Michelle?
Excuse me, eating.
That's one thing she's been doing the last week, eating.
I would hope so.
Me too.
Excuse me. Not too bad. Same old, same old. They're talking about making the lockdown longer and harsher, which is fun. But it doesn't really affect my work because where I work, one of the jobs is in a store that gets to stay open because it's a pharmacy, and the other one is an office where nobody works. So, like, I'm maybe around people for like 3 hours a week, and the rest of the time I'm just on my toddler at home.
There you go.
But I did. I bought myself a tripod ring light. For 20 quid, which I think is about $25-30, and I've just put up a review of it. So feel free to check that out because so far nobody has yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's up in 2 parts. That explains why Stagehand got a little happy in my personal server.
Sorry about that. Sorry, get go.
Yeah. For those who don't know, in my Discord servers, I named my little bot Stagehand because thematic.
Yeah, So basically, I was doing the review. Went to take my phone off of the mini tripod that I normally use to mount it into the new tripod to see how that all goes, and my doofy ass accidentally turned the phone off.
Oops.
So basically, the next one was like, "Well, welcome to part 2 then. Carry on."
It happens to the best of us, though.
Yeah. We can't really change an unboxing.
Yeah.
Once it's unboxed, that's it. It's unboxed. You can't redo it.
There you go. Oh, lordy. So yeah, as Scully kind of alluded to just a minute or two ago, we've had some shit go down in America. Like when we were here last week, we talked about the terrorist attack on the Capitol. That's what it is. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Sedition!
Yep. Sedition, treason, whatever you want to call it. And as
not Antifa.
Exactly, as should have been predicted, and I may have mentally, but never really voiced it. Yeah, the people on the right are like, oh no, that was this. Oh no, they're this. They're coming up with so many excuses as to why this was a capital A, capital G, good, capital T thing. It's like, no, that is not a good thing. They were wanting to go in and murder people, and you know what? Mike Pence is far from my favorite human, In fact, just this bullshit as the governor of Indiana makes me want to kick him in the balls. That alone. But I don't think he should be strung up in a mob that is pissed off at him because he won't bow down to Daddy Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Why I called him Daddy Trump, I have no idea.
And the thing is, from what I understand about Pence, he is smart enough to know that he physically, legally, constitutionally could not do what Donald asked in the first place anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he didn't even need to say, no, I'm not doing that, because he couldn't.
Yeah. But at the same time, people are also thinking, well, laws can be broken. Well, that is true. You legally cannot incite a riot, but look at what Donald Trump did. And even if, legally he can get, even if he can't be punished for it legally, there's more than just the legal thing. If the law won't do it, then, others can, all of his banks calling in their debt, or Twitter kicking Trump off the platform, Facebook kicking him off the platform. A little 4 years a little late, but you know what? Better late than never. And then maybe next time, when a bunch of us, and we do outnumber them, try and warn you, hey, there's some fascist shit going on. Maybe listen to them instead of worrying about your bottom line. Because we fucking warned you.
Yeah.
Europe
warned you!
Yeah.
Europe fucking warned you!
Yes.
We tried!
Mm-hmm.
We're like, kid, sit down. Watch all these war documentaries. Don't get any funny ideas.
Yeah. Oh my god, people. We warned you. And that's what happened. So, yeah, we're at a point where we can say, yeah, we told you so. Now let's fix this shit. And there's also the conservatives that are like, oh, we need to heal, we need unity, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, no. You attacked the Capitol and generalized you. You attacked the Capitol because your guy didn't win. You attacked the Capitol because the guy who didn't win told you to, because he made up some sob story about how everything is so unfair to him. Bullshit. Donald Trump has just had to face consequences and he doesn't like it.
Narcissists tend to, they don't like facing consequences.
Yeah. Well, tough shit for Donald Trump, he's going to. He better.
Yeah.
And I hope it involves prison and iron.
Yeah. Every day, I hope.
Yeah. And it's just, and that's made me rethink other things too, because I'm genre savvy enough to think, okay, you put him in prison and he is away from people, then what do you do to keep his influence from getting out? Because Charles Manson was in prison for a long time, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were people that he was able to influence one way or another, even while in prison. He didn't have Trump's financial backing or power when he got locked up. So that makes me wonder how, getting him put away, fine. That severely limits his reach. But how do you take his reach entirely away in a way that's humane? Some people might be thinking, oh, just keep him in solitary. But that also is not a very humane way of doing it either. So it's like, what do you do? Once he is in prison, what do you do? I mean, some people would be like, well, he's too dangerous, execute him. And I will admit, I have had that thought. I've even voiced such thoughts before. But that also runs the risk of turning him into a literal martyr for his supporters.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, so it's like, it is not as simple as I would like it to be, personally. But then again, few things are. Very few things are.
No.
Although there is some good to come out of this from his cultist followers, because this whole cult of personality thing is a thing, and it is around Donald Trump.
Yep.
I think Telltale said he was like what level 2 cult? I think it was.
Yeah. level 2 cult, like no centralized leader within the cult, but within the group, people sort of rise to the top.
Yeah.
So even if you don't see Donald himself as a Trump leader, the people that he's built up around him are creating little enclaves.
Yeah. So, but it is nice to see some of these assholes, some of these traitors and terrorists that went to DC suddenly having a hard time getting home because they're on no-fly lists.
That has been my favorite thing. I have loved that so much.
Yes. That is just, oh, mwah, love it. And to hear them whine about it too. You're treating me like a black person. Well, we see what colors you have. No pun intended. Yeah, we see you here. We it's all out there. You're not wearing a mask. Well, you weren't anyway because you think masks are oppressive for some reason. Because
I had a thought about that. If we weren't in the dark times, and if they weren't like so anti-mask, because my rights,
yeah,
they probably would have been masked up, and it would have been harder for us to identify them all. So thanks, you anti-mask motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, we can identify you. We can send that information to your bosses, because whether or not your boss supports you behind the scenes or whatever, they got a company to look after, and they got an image to uphold. Knowing that you are literally helping Nazis is not exactly the best look for the overall thing. So you're gonna get rid of them pretty damn quick. You mean you have to lose your job because you did? Yes. Because what you did is terrorism. You did a terrorism, Hank. So you get to have consequences now.
Yes.
Just oh my god, people. And so also Parler, which was that little safe space that conservatives started going to when Twitter was starting to crack down. Even before the big crackdown, people were starting to go to Parler because they couldn't handle it. Because they're wusses.
They're snowflakes. They are snowflakes.
Yeah, and it's one thing if you're like on a social media platform and everybody is doing everything that is like legit triggering the fuck out of you, and you need a different space. That's one thing. These are a bunch of whiny crybabies. There's a difference. Yeah. They're not legit triggered. They're just wusses. Who
they're upset that they can't like hate in peace anymore.
Yeah.
Is what
I can't say the N-word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what do you mean I can't say the quiet part loud?
Well, see, here's the thing. I've mentioned it on previous shows before. You can say, like physically speaking, you can say whatever you want. The government can't do shit to you unless it is like inciting violence or something like that.
Unless you're the president and you're inciting violence, apparently.
Yeah. But
yeah.
The point is, with very few exceptions, you can say whatever you want. You can go down the middle of Harlem and you can scream the N-word all day long. It's not advisable, but you could. You would just have to deal with the consequence of, at the very least, every black person in that area looking at you funny, and at the worst, having the shit beat out of you. Because, there's a lot to that word that a lot of black people, I'm gonna assume down to a DNA level, are like, hey, wait a minute, what the fuck you doing, honky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So to just throw that in there, not a good move. You could, but it's not smart.
There's a tweet that Justin McElroy put out. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how long ago now. Talking about like how the First Amendment, like for the last time, the First Amendment protects you from the government, not the Justin.
Exactly.
So it's just like, yeah, technically you can say whatever you want, but that doesn't mean that we have to tolerate it.
Yeah. Like, and it's like people, and of course people on the right are like, oh, Twitter did this, they're coming for you next, they're censoring you. It's like, no, Twitter's a private platform that's not run by the government, so they can boot you off for whatever reason they want. Now, there can be discussions about what their criteria is and how well they hold up their terms of service
Cough,
between
cough, banning innocent members. Cough, cough.
exactly, doing things
I want
like
my
that
Twitter
there.
account back.
Yeah, so doing things like that there, and all of that. But at the end of the day, it's still their way to run it. If you legit do violate their terms of service, then yeah, that's their right to kick you off. You can appeal if you want, and some people do, some people don't. That's up to them. But and who knows? If it was a computer mistake or whatever, you can have a human look at it, and we could be like, okay, then if they do their due diligence, then here and there. Part of it is maybe hire more humans to actually run your shit, and that's more than just Twitter. It's all social media, including YouTube, which for a minute had a YouTube channel for Trump. That has since, as of this recording, been shut down, for lack of a better term, because it's not permanently shut down. It was for at least a week. Which YouTube, you can do better. You really can.
Yeah.
They
can in general.
Yeah.
There's so much crap on their platform.
Yeah. It's funny. I think I mentioned it last time, but it's funny how they've had all of this right-wing seditionist talk and stuff that incites mob violence and everything, but yet they'll age restrict one George Carlin clip where all he's doing is screaming, "Shut the fuck up." Because there's the fuck word in it. Fuck off.
Essentially. It's there's one of the people that I follow on YouTube is Bomber guy, who does a lot of good video essays.
Oh yeah,
he does.
He's one of us.
And he's covered in the past these super just Nazis. I'll just call them what they are.
Yeah.
Nazis that are on the platform. And I think I've seen it talked about before, but I haven't talked about it myself. The YouTube as a platform is a pipeline to being a radicalized right winger.
Yeah.
Because you fall down one rabbit hole and then it's done.
Yeah.
Oh. A lot of that obviously depends on people and their already sitting views, but I've seen so many people just fall down those holes and be full on QAnon stuff.
Yeah. And I will admit, in some of our date nights, Becky and I will fall down rabbit holes or what have you, but it's usually things like really fucked up roller coaster accidents, not showing it, just the stories behind them. Or satanic panic videos from the 80s, or things like that there. That's our date night. We watch those and we make fun of them, or we rant at them, or what have you. So of course ours would be a little fucked up. But then again, most of my YouTube experience is between users like Surus or or aforementioned Bomber guy, and a lot of Pokemon videos. In my case, so and thankfully
on the
thankfully any problematic PokeTubers out there are not being recommended to me. I can think of one right off the top of my head, but but I don't subscribe to him. I remember coming across his videos once, and I was like, okay, that's some information. Then I learned all this other shit, and I'm like, oh, he's not good. So I'm just going to take him, put him over here, and I'm going to move on with my day. I kind of ran over there, Michelle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'd say about on the Twitter banish thing. They TLDR US did a video. I think it was US. It's one of the TLDR channels, and I will find it and put the link in for you. Did a video on is Twitter and social media biased against the right wing, and basically yes. Reasons basically being yes, it's a private company. There's a lot of younger people, especially on Twitter, and more of them are going to say, report when people are talking shit. And generally speaking, yeah, okay, their systems aren't always perfect, but they do have rules, and if you're breaking them, and let's be honest, it's going to be the more extreme of the right wingers, because not every single right winger, but the more extreme right wingers are the ones that are going to be breaking the rules because they're the ones saying the shit that people are getting banned for.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a fun little video. I'll post it down so you can share it.
Oh, but yeah, and oh lordy, there's like one guy that I caught in the politics channel of Rosen server. He's on record. He before the terrorist attack. He was wanting to make the lawmakers shake in their boots or whatever. And, and afterwards, now that he's been caught, now he's getting an interview. He's like, "But I'm not a terrorist." Yes, you are.
You are.
You are. And this also exposes a thing about, our prison system and how things are going with another thing that Trump has quote unquote gloriously brought to the light and made flourish and everything. So for those who don't remember, Trump, while he may not have specifically set them up, he has allowed the concentration camps to definitely flourish under his administration. Whether or not those camps were there before him, they may have been, they may not have been. I'm going to guess they probably were because it's America. But he has allowed them to flourish. He could have said, "Hey, you know what? Shut them down and let them go." He didn't because he hates brown people that much. And in those concentration camps, you have Muslims, like legit Muslims, being fed bacon even though their diet forbids them from doing it. You have children who are needing things like toothpaste and things to kind of clean themselves, make themselves, feel like decent human beings. And down there, ICE is like, no, we're not going to do that. No, because, you're never going to get clean. You're too brown, that thing. That's probably not exact, but still, point is they treat him like shit is the point. Meanwhile, there's this one dude. The dude, I think it was like the dude you saw like all dressed up like some sort of right-wing Jumanji character or whatever.
Oh, QAnon shaman, I think he calls himself.
Yeah. That asshole. He got put in prison. And he spent a few days not eating because his food wasn't organic. Just let that sit for a moment. Like, really? Because your food wasn't organic.
It's insane.
Yeah.
On just so many levels.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, I think the dude was actually, doing voice work and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
His name was Jake
Angeli?
Angeli?
Yeah,
something
along
that lines. And so he gets caught for all this shit, and then, he gets sent to prison, rightfully.
Yeah.
Because, Jesus Christ. And, and this entire time he's been spouting some bullshit about how everyone on the left are, snowflakes or whatever. And then he gets to prison and won't eat the food because it's not organic.
Yeah. So there are two levels to this one. Number one, it's food. 99% of it is organic by default. It's organic material. I know what they mean. I know they mean in the way it's prepared, but it's organic. So shut up and eat. And number two, and here's the infuriating part, the prison complied. They gave him organic food. And the first I heard of it, it was like, prison did their due diligence. They gave him food. They gave him every opportunity to eat. They didn't stop him from eating. They're not withholding from him. And if he chooses not to eat and starve himself, then, that's on him. The prison did their due diligence. And there's also other complications from that too, but he could try and become a martyr or make the prison look bad. I do get all that. But from what I understand, the prison was doing their due diligence. So
yeah.
So it's like fucker starved himself because he's a snowflake. Like Jeebus.
Yeah, I personally I'm about as far left I think as you can get. So I have a lot of personal
I'll explain
I
that
have
in
a
a
lot
second.
of
Carry on.
I have a lot of issues with the prison system as it is.
Yeah.
It like slavery exists still because of our prison system and yada yada yada. At the same time, I don't necessarily agree with prison abolishment because fuckers like him exist.
Yeah.
And I don't trust them to walk free ever.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there's got to be some sort of middle ground on that one. There are some things that you can find a middle ground on. Not everything, you know. Not everything like these libertarians like to try to tell you. At least the ones that I've encountered. Let me put it that way. Just so many people.
The only reason I gave that snarky little high was because, as I understand your Overton window, even your left wing is pretty right wing from our point of view.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I have a... Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I was going to say something about Horn Guy's diety stuff. Because listening to you guys talking about it again, it's like, all right, just organic. So it's not like he is, for example, a celiac, so he can only eat certain foods or can't eat certain foods or has other legitimate allergies, or even is vegetarian or vegan, which I don't really track with veganism. Sorry if Astra, if you are one, but it's more the stuck upness of most of vegans, and I don't think it's sustainable for the environment long term. So if it was like he had an actual either ethical or medical food problem or food, requirement, okay, yeah, fair enough. Give him like what is within his belief in the sense of allergy and or chosen dietary requirements. Now, I'm not saying you necessarily have to cater to vegan or vegetarian, but it's good form to do so, and I'm pretty sure most prisons have that, at least vegetarian menu nowadays. But just because it didn't come straight from the ground, fuck you.
Yeah.
And especially since, see, he got his way. Meanwhile, remember those people in the concentration camps? They don't. And that exposes another problem with the whole prison system, because I'm willing to bet they were more willing to kowtow to him because he's white.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We are currently experiencing child food poverty because our children aren't at school at the moment, and the ones that would normally have had free school meals or other schemes that would have helped them aren't currently getting that. The parents can't work or have been working less because the kids are home, so someone's got to take care of them, and some of the kids are going hungry. And the government, like, Zakir actually gave a massive, like, he really slapped Boris down hard. It was kind of amazing. But yeah, so we got children, like, around the fucking planet, not just it's being highlighted here at the moment because, yeah, it's not cool that our kids are going hungry, but around the fucking world, kids and adults, like, there are people with genuine not just like below the breadline, but almost below the starvation line. But this guy wanted a raw carrot.
Yeah. People.
It's so. And like I was one of the kids that like here in America that I was getting the free lunches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like I just like I think about that so often because it's like with everything that's been going on. And, like, parents just having to work less and everything, or just not being able to work as much. And, like, how many, like, poor families are really suffering, meanwhile, rich people get richer.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
Elon Musk is now the richest person in the world.
I want to bring out the guillotine.
Yes.
Yep.
I hate him on so many levels. I could rant about him for a while, but
yeah, I don't blame you. I've actually, like, for the past week or two, I've been thinking, okay, you know what? If I was to overhaul the entire like financial system of the United States, I would make sure everybody above a certain threshold would get taxed at 99% of their of their net, like their net gains. Because if you have a net of, like, say 10 million or more, you're doing okay. You can afford to pay more off of that.
Yeah.
So
And it's like one of the things with like the bigger tax things is that like a lot of people on the right will say like, oh, but like that'll take away like our hard-earned money, and it's like this is only being applied to people above a certain like financial threshold.
Yeah,
it's not really gonna affect you because you're not making even like $1 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll even give a perfect example from my dad's business. He owns an insurance agency. He's been having to keep going in because insurance is considered essential, because of course it is. And also, let's not forget the fact that Governor DeSantis had said that not even small towns can enforce a mask mandate. That explains why people around town aren't wearing masks, and my dad, who is the mayor, is not doing anything about it because he can't. Yeah. So anyway, to get back to the insurance agency, by my estimations, based on like his book of business or whatever, he probably grosses, and for those who may not already understand, gross is what you get before your bills are paid. That includes taxes, payroll, what have you. Gross is probably, I'm estimating and rounding for ease, probably $1 million. And this is in a year. Okay. So, he would fall well under that threshold. He would get to keep more of that money. It would not affect him in the slightest. No. Because the net would be, if my calculations are done right, would probably be well below 500,000, well below that, and in fact probably well below 250,000. So it's enough to survive and thrive here. If you do it like say in Chicago, maybe if you're frugal enough with your money. And bear in mind, these are all estimates on my end. These are not the actual numbers. So a business like ours likely would not be affected. So, and that's on the higher end of people who would probably complain that this 99% tax thing that I've thought up would affect them, and it's like, no, likely not. You'd probably still pay your same tax rate. If you're doing everything all right, and my dad's he's not greedy enough to fuck over his employees, by the way. So. Right. So there is also that. Maybe that's why he's not a multi-billionaire. No, that's actually a good thing. In fact, the IRS has even told him, because we also have some rental properties around town. The IRS has told him he needs to charge more for rent. So it's like,
no, I don't think I will.
No. And that's exactly what he did. He's like, no, piss off, flip the bird, go away.
Yeah.
So, just so the whole tax rate thing, 99%, yeah, and that'll take care of a lot. You know what you can do with all that tax revenue? First of all, you can give everybody living in the country. Notice I'm saying everybody living in the country, not every citizen. A minimum of $3,000 a month. You can
I would give to have that.
Yeah. You could also use that money to pour back into education, into the arts, not so much the military. We don't want to totally.
The military has enough money.
Yeah,
yeah.
We don't need to drain them all away, but we can lower how much we put in there, especially since that money is not going to the soldiers. If it was all going to give the soldiers better pay, I probably would not have as much of a care about it. But they're not.
Yeah.
It's mostly going to the fucking war profiteers and the weapons makers. Yeah. It's not going to the soldiers who are using the weapons. So yeah, you can cut all that down. Those people up at the top can do with less. Let them tighten their belts for once, instead of making the soldiers do it. Did I mention my dad is also retired military? So I have feelings on that too.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I think I just interrupted a thought you were having, but
okay.
I was just gonna say on the arts thing, I did see someone had this great bag. It was said, buy art from living artists. Dead ones don't need it. Don't need the money.
Exactly. Which that reminds me, Astra, are you open for commissions?
I am. Please give me your money.
Yes, give them your money, please.
My Twitter account got nuked because I'm fairly certain I was covering a lot of the events that were going on the, what was it, the 6th?
Mm-hmm.
With everything in the Capitol. And I'm pretty sure I pissed someone off on the right, and they scrubbed through my account to find, like, one joke reply to one of my friends to, like, report me on. Because I jokingly said to my friend, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Because that's how we joke, and since then my account has been suspended. But I can give Gomer my email to put in the, like, my business email to put in the description or something.
Sweet!
So... Because normally I'd say, just contact me on my Twitter.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But yeah, maybe I should have, like, an Artist Alley link tree or something. Or maybe not a link tree, I'd have to open up a separate one for that. But separate with email and everything, because you can't have more than one link tree tied to one email, which I guess makes sense. But still,
yeah.
But like have this little Artist Alley, because Becky does the title card for this, and I'm also shilling stuff for Mel, who has masks and all of that good stuff. And as far as I know, the code that's in the description is still good. So you can get 10% off on masks. And you might want to wear them, but she is concentrating a little bit more on sushi though, and I think the link that takes you to her Etsy store, her site, and all that good shit, the sushi should be there, but I don't think the code works for them, or maybe not. I don't know.
Right.
I'll have to ask her, but but yeah. So
what's the code, Gomer?
Gomer 10.
Gomer 10. That's it. You mentioned having a code about 3 times. You didn't say what the code was.
Yeah. Well, it's also in the description. Nah, but,
fair enough.
But
not everyone looks at the description, to be honest, hon.
That is true. It's been a while since I've brought it up, because Mel has not been exactly happy with how it's been going, and it's not necessarily a fault of mine. It's just it's a difficult thing. Her sushis are doing very well though. In fact,
I did look at the sushis; they're very cute.
Yes, yeah, she even sent me a sushi for Christmas.
Yay!
I'm like, yay! And oh my gosh, she also this is gonna take us into the break. But she also sent me like one of those little globe things with a Pokemon in it from Japan.
Oh,
and of course it's an Umbreon, because Umbreon is my favorite.
The friend's fan in me wants to get an Unagi from her. I gotta get money first.
Yeah.
Unagi.
Yeah, because oh god, I don't even know how much it would cost to ship overseas. I think she does it.
Yeah.
She should be doing it. But yeah.
It can be pricey depending on. I can't imagine they're too heavy, but even then, especially with Brexit's really fucked up international shipping for us as well.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.
Yeah. Depending on the size of the sushi, I've got like one of the biggest ones, which was one of the first ones she actually sewed when she was getting everything together to do sushi. And it's, I would say, no more than 5 pounds. I think I'd have to weigh it, but it's not heavy. Still relatively. No. It's like a pillow, or a few pillows stacked together. And it's really good, real comfortable. So and it's very huggable. I sleep with one every night.
I like a huggable.
Yes, and it's more in it because while it is also soft and huggable and everything, it's also good for like just my body as well. So like I don't move my arm in weird positions or anything. So it does double duty in being not only nice and soft, but it's also good for me. Yay! Yeah, that was the same pillow that was with me all throughout the Kansas debacle, which is where I lost my job after running into the back of a truck at 65 miles an hour in another truck. Oof. Obviously, I survived.
Did you die?
No.
But did you die?
I did not. Felt like I came close, though. Jeebus.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah.
On that cheerful note.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and take our break real quick. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of news stories and actually one of them does tie into trucking, surprisingly. So we'll talk about those when we come back. So stick around. Hey folks, we'll get back to the show in a moment, but first I want to tell you about Patreon. Patreon is what I use to get around all of the YouTube adpocalypse bullshit, and while I don't have a lot right now, every little bit does help. And if you like what you hear or what you see on any of my videos or podcasts, head on over there. For as little as $1 a month, you can get all of these things early before anybody else does, and you can get them completely ad-free. Yeah, I know YouTube right now is technically ad-free, but at some point, I'm probably going to get big enough to where ads will start coming in, and those can be annoying, so you want to avoid that, right? If you go ahead and go now over to patreon.com/Gomer21XX, leave $1, $5, doesn't matter how much, you can get all of these. Again, you can get them early, and you get them without ads, even when I reach the point on YouTube to where ads can be put on these videos. So it's a win-win. And you can even avoid the ads that go up on the Anchor versions that go out to all of the other websites that are out there. No ads. It's great. So that's patreon.com/Gomer21XX.
And now, an important message from Tyler Green, Kitty Quinn, and Randy Martin.
Are you tired of asking yourself if that obscure show or movie you watched once was a fever dream?
Is it still in your brain to this day as a 3 a.m. channel-changing hallucination? Well, join us as we yank that said memory out of your subconscious while we do a deep dive on it on Channel KRT.
Channel KRT is a new bi-weekly podcast where we look at the best and worst of obscure media. We'll be covering such topics as
The Puzzle Place,
Clown TV,
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show,
Reanimated,
The Weird Al Show,
We Sing,
and more. Join us every other week over at Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, and wherever podcasts can be heard. Channel KRT, cut to static.
Howdy, everybody. Before I get started on this quick content warning, we're going to be talking about the Belle Delphine situation, which involves some dubious / non-consent setups and some really disturbing shit. So if you're easily triggered, and I mean legit triggered by this kind of shit, you may want to skip ahead probably about 5, 6, 7 minutes, however long. Might want to skip ahead to the second half of the show. It's one of those rare times I'm recording before we record the actual episode. So, it's going to be fun. So the day before recording this, which is January 12th is when this popped up, Belle Delphine was trending on Twitter, like she does every now and then, like for things like getting into porn or selling. I think she was the one who sold the bathwater, Gamer Girl bathwater or whatever. But either way, she trends every now and then. Then she trended again yesterday, and there's no really delicate way to put this. She put up a 4-picture photo set involving her dressed as a schoolgirl, being kidnapped, taken to the forest, and raped. Again, no real delicate way to put it. Or at least none that I can find that also gets the point across. But that's bad in and of itself. And in terms of making content like that, you want to make content like that, you go ahead, because especially if it's between 2 consenting adults, that's the key. 2 consenting adults, or more if the scene calls for it. That's obviously a mock-up, obviously roleplay thing. That's your gig. That's creepy and that's ew, but you're not hurting anybody. That's where my threshold is for this. Okay. And you want to make money off of it. Okay. Bigger porn productions do so as well. You know? And then I've seen it, like, I'm part of one, and even some of their scenes, like, up in the very front, they're like, hey, this shit could get intense. If this easily triggers you, you may not want to watch this scene. So, you know. Now that in and of itself would be the end of it if that was all she trended for. If that was the only reason she trended. But the thing she didn't do was, 1, she didn't put up any content warnings. And 2, she made it look like, oh, it's a perfect first date, heart. Like, no. And yeah, it's an uncomfortable topic to discuss and bring up. Hell, I'm a little uncomfortable bringing it up, but I feel like I have to say something, you know? Because there'll be that one person who'll be like, wait, what the fuck? What the fuck's going on? And so, you know, I'm playing to that one person at this point. However uncomfortable it may make me or anybody else. But again, beginning of the section, we did have the content warnings. So it's like, again, I want to reiterate, you want to shoot a porno scene like that with consenting adults and the mock-ups and the everything. That's your right. You want to sell that. That's your right. That's fine. But at the very, 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 very least, put up a content warning. That's all you need to do. And yeah, I'm not perfect about it. There are some times, well, just this very show, not this episode, but the show as a whole, where we'd end up talking about some really heavy shit, and my dumbass would get put up a content warning somewhere, or we'd put up a content warning and then it would be worse than I thought, or what have you, you know? So, yeah, I'm not perfect about it. But I think this is one of those situations where it's pretty blatant that you need a goddamn content warning. Like, put up content warning, lady. Now you went and you legit triggered a whole bunch of assault victims, and they're gonna want your head. Potentially. Not necessarily literally, but, you know. And I don't blame them. I really don't. Because it's like, yeah, I would be pissed off too. Pissed off, upset, whatever emotions they're feeling, valid. Because, hi, that's a triggering scene. If you're gonna do it, put a label on it. Say, hey, this is some intense shit. How about not? And your marketing sucks too, by the way, Belle. It does, because you're like, oh, it's a perfect first date. And that's it. Like you don't have your warning. Your marketing sucks. I don't know if at this point, I don't know if we're going to be bringing it up in the normal episode, considering we do have our guest Astra on this week, and they found out about it not long before we started recording, and I left that up to them. If we did, it's because of them, and I will likely have remained silent because of this segment. Oh, it's not even a laughing matter. Oh. But, yeah. One of the most uncomfortable segments I've done in a while, definitely over the 5-minute mark. I like to keep them that way, but it's just... alright. In closing, to round up everything, and I'm going to reiterate a few points again. If you're going to do it, do it. Fine. Everybody's consenting adults. We all know it's fantasy. Okay. But put a goddamn warning label on that shit, please. That's the least you could do. And yeah, you could argue that they could just not do the material in the first place, and that is also valid. But if you're going to ignore that and do it anyway, put a fucking warning label on it. Take care, and yeah, we're going to make sure the rest of the show is lighter than this segment alone. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. And we are back from our break, and we're going to take things lighter, as I've been trying to do. Start with the heavier stuff, because usually the heavier stuff is more important. It's stuff we need to know. Because, yeah, I think, you know, a bunch of traitors trying to take over the country is a thing we need to know. As heavy as it is. And admittedly, sometimes it can get so heavy, some people need to take time off. That's fine, too. You know,
yep.
There's no harm in that. So, the second half of the show, and I'm mostly explaining it for people who are first-timers. This is where a lot of my stuff is like, yeah. So for every episode, there's usually somebody new. Hopefully, if you keep growing, you're gonna have somebody new every episode. You know, it's kind of how soap operas work a little bit too, or like, you know, your as you know type moments. So the remaining part of the show is going to be relatively lighter. There are still going to be some important things, as we'll see in a moment. but it's going to be relatively lighter. Yeah. So I've mentioned just in the first part of the show, I have been a truck driver, for several years, off and on for the most part. And just last year, it's been almost a year. Holy shit! I decided, I'm not for that life anymore. I don't think it's really healthy when you wake up for work and you're already in tears and almost, to the point to where you're overstressed just by waking up in the damn truck. That's not good. So
hugs.
Yeah, but I have also thought, if there was a way to get me back, it would have to be completely under my control. Like, I choose when I drive, I choose what loads I take, where I take those loads, and all of that good shit. And if they don't like it, then oh well, pay me anyway. You're getting your shit safely. And to that, and this is a little bit of a background to the article I'm pulling up, I've got up here. To that end, the DOT, Department of Transportation, has a set of rules, like hours of service rules, for truck drivers and other professional drivers. Similar. We mostly talk about it in the scope of truck drivers. So with the hours of services, you have
I'm derping.
in every one work day, you have a 14-hour window from when you first put yourself on duty. And this 14 hours will tick down from that moment. You wake up and you put yourself on duty to, do your pre-trip checking. You check your truck and make sure all the bells and whistles are working, basically. That's considered on duty because that's working. And once that starts, the timer goes down until you run out of 14 hours. The only way you can stop it is if you stop early in the middle of the day and take a full 10-hour break. That's the only thing that resets that 14-hour clock. So, and it has to be 10 hours. Off duty, in the cab, out of the cab, it doesn't matter. You're off duty, that's your rest time. Within that 14 hours, you can take no more than 11 driving. And it doesn't have to be all at once. And in fact, we don't recommend it. In fact, there's an additional rule where you cannot legally do all 11 hours at once. So, but once that 11 hours is up, you cannot drive until you have had that 10-hour break. And this is meant for safety. Within that 11 hours, you have to have a 30-minute break in there somewhere, minimum of 30 minutes. And it has to be within the first 8 hours. So you could drive 5.5 hours, take yourself a 30-minute break, drive another 5.5 hours. Potentially. And if it's a long distance thing and you got the energy to do all that, great. That's fine and dandy. But even with those rules in place, one other rule, which also is the 70-hour rule, that basically says you can work 70 hours per week. I think I say per week. I think it's like 70 hours, 8 days. In 8 days, you can work 70 hours at most, without having to take a 34-hour break, which is basically a day and a half, to reset everything. And that's supposed to freshen you up and get you going for however long. A lot of companies, and I worked for one that did this, that 8 days are rolling days. So like if you work 10 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours, whatever, or even just like 5 hours each day, once you get to that 8th day, the next day you get like 5 hours back. So it rolls ahead. So as long as you don't do that within like a full, as long as you don't go over the 70 hours, then that you can keep rolling almost indefinitely. And a lot of companies like to do that, which by the way is bullshit. So yeah, I think I've made that clear. I hope I have. So those rules are in place, like I said, to keep drivers safe, to ensure that drivers legally have to pull off and take a rest, to take care of meals, take care of sleep, all of that good shit. We are not living in the times where Jim Croce was talking about his times on the road, where you could drive, you could take a West Coast turnaround, drive from New York to LA, then turn around and drive right back the whole time talking to your windshield. We're not in those times anymore. We don't need to be in those times anymore because too many people are crashing. It still happens because either a driver wants to be the super trucker, trademark, not a real trademark, wants to be a super trucker and wants to get all the money possible, or you have companies that push their drivers because they want their product as quickly as possible. And I understand wanting the product as quickly as possible, especially around the holidays. I understand all of this. The point, the thing you should do then is hire more drivers to move more product and stagger them out to a point to where you have at least 1 or 2 trucks coming in, depending on how big your company is, to where you will always have some new product coming in, a day or two, day after day after day. Have it coming in as fast as it's going out, basically. For like the busiest times. Instead of having like 1 or 2 drivers pushing and potentially harming others by, being overly fatigued. So fatigue is also a big thing when you're on the road, because even if you've had the best sleep of your life, those beds are not the most comfortable things to sleep on. And even sometimes getting into a hotel, because you can do that every now and then. Sometimes even with those beds, it's still not enough, because you might physically be okay, but mentally you're just still like. So.
Yeah.
So you need that extra time, which some companies may like, some may not like. I've found that a lot of companies don't like it when somebody needs extra time than what they're wanting to give. So. Because at one point while I was driving with one company, I was like, hey, I'm feeling like I need to have weekends. Doesn't have to be at home. It could be wherever. But just give me like a reset every weekend. That's going to help me. That's going to help you. I didn't like that. They didn't fire me over it. They just said, yeah, we ain't doing that. So I should have quit right then, but whatever. It is what it is. Can't do anything about it now. Now, and now we're getting into the article after that whole big preamble. They have made a hat that can save a driver's life. That's the headline.
Oh.
And article reads out, and I found this on Men's Journal. I actually had to look up the article itself, but there's actually a video that Business Insider covered and put on Twitter and the other social medias. The article reads, to celebrate 60 years of making trucks in Brazil, the engineers at Ford decided to create something for the people who drive them. Specifically, they invented a cap that senses when a driver is about to fall asleep and uses light, sound, and vibration to wake them back up. Now, that is not a good idea. I understand you want to keep drivers alert, especially if you're driving overnight. Some drivers can do it, some can't. I've done both. Driving overnight, I would rather stab myself in the eyes with forks. I do not want to have to do that. So I don't. But on the times that I have done it, that fucks up your sleep schedule so much. Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
Yep.
And even if you've had the best rest of your life, you're able to turn yourself into a full nocturnal creature. It's still a pain in the ass to stay awake at night. So... But, so I understand wanting things to help keep you alert, but most drivers, if you're driving through like northern areas, you can roll down the window, you get that cool blast of air in your face. And then you have to roll it back up because then snow's getting everywhere. You can blast the music, but if you're driving with a co-driver, you can't blast it too loud because you don't want to wake them up. You could do all sorts of things. You can pull over a little bit, go run around the truck, and that gets the blood pumping for a little while. So, there's all of that stuff there. But this hat, they call it the Safe Cap, and it was produced in collaboration with the Sao Paulo-based creative firm GTB. Together, the two companies study the differences in how drivers normally move their heads, such as checking your blind spot or glancing at your speedometer, and the motions commonly associated with dozing off, an action that can often be fatal. SafeCap, equipped with a gyroscope and an accelerometer, can extinguish between the two types of movement. When it senses its wearer is falling asleep at the wheel, the hat starts vibrating, making noise, and flashing lights from the brim until it detects the driver is awake. Let me tell you something. When you are the level of fatigued to the point to where driving would be a detriment to yourself and people on the road, you don't need to, you don't need to be driving. You need to be pulling off. Pull off at a rest area, pull off at a truck stop. If you really have to, just pull off on the side of the highway. I've done that very rarely, but you know what? I had like one highway patrolman come up and say, "Hey, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just out of hours." And he let me do it, and it was fine. I wasn't blocking traffic. I was lit up well enough. People could see me. Everything was safe. I was just out of hours. But I'm willing to bet that there are a lot of cases where it's like, oh shit, you're out of hours. You cannot safely drive. All right. And I'm going to say, if a law enforcement officer tries to make you drive unsafely, get their badge number. I would just say
always
that.
Get an officer's badge number.
Yes.
Just in general, it's a good idea.
Yes. So, yeah. So the article goes on about the product, and it makes mention of the 11 hours in a single shift driving thing. And I'm seeing all of this, and I'm thinking, I mentioned part of it earlier. Make it to where drivers don't feel like they have to drive that long if they don't want to. If they choose a load that's like very quick, that you have to get there immediately, and you have to drive like from Atlanta to San Antonio in 2 days, which is a bit pushing it, but we'll run with that. Then let that driver do it as long as they can do it safely. That's the key term, safely. But forcing everybody to try and become super truckers, no. The minimum should be, okay, we will work with you, we will work with your scheduling. And it's not just the trucking companies either. It's also the big corporations like your Walmart, your Family Dollars, etc. Schedule things to where your truck drivers can not only get your load to you in a timely manner, but also safely. Those are the big things. If that means it's an extra day before they get your load to you, then that's an extra day that they don't have to worry about your load getting strewn all over the highway or your driver getting strewn all over the highway. You don't have to worry about that. So, yeah, it's an extra day that product's not there. That's why you also get more drivers, stack the product, stack it up a little bit. Like, okay, we've got one dude supposed to come in today, another dude's supposed to come in tomorrow, another dude's supposed to come in another day. One of those dudes are gonna make it, at least. And if they all make it, hey, more product for you to sell. That's my thinking about it. And I know some of them are like, well, they'd have to pay for all of that. Well, they're paying for the driver anyway. May as well. And it makes it safer. To where, it's like, okay, they're not going to be in danger of, not having this product if I have to take another day. For whatever reason, like I get sick or an accident happens. And whether I'm involved or not, that's going to eat up time no matter what. Or if you're just driving through Atlanta.
Anywhere in Michigan that has construction, which is half of the state.
Yeah. So that's still a problem, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I've driven through Michigan, but I remember that being a hell of a problem.
Oh, man. They shut down, I think, one of our highways for a while to try to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's still bad.
Although, not to be outdone, if I remember, southern Indiana is also similar.
Yeah, I would imagine. Man. Yeah, Michigan has a big issue with the roads and everything.
Yeah.
My dad and I have speculated. This obviously really can't be confirmed in any way because no one is ever going to admit it if it is true. But considering that Detroit is known as the quote unquote auto city.
Yeah.
A lot of the automakers here have a big hand in our government and everything. And they may now want us to have good roads because then we'd have to come in with repairs more often and they make more money. So, Michigan being a poor state already as it is, besides like a few certain areas, 2 of which I am surrounded by. It's very weird. There's literally, like, I think like 15 minutes east of where I am, I have seen actual mansions.
Jesus. So wait, you're near Kalamazoo?
Meanwhile, literally down like 5 minutes from there across the street is the poverty line.
Yeah.
It's insane how much it changes around here.
Indeed.
But yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think my older sister's dad, we're half siblings. I think her dad was doing truck driving for a while at one point. When we were both like super young. And I don't remember like much about it because we didn't really live together as kids other than during the summers, but I remember like us talking about it at one point and like her telling me that her dad was just so tired all of the time.
Yeah. I mean, and that does play into things. Like, during the time I was on the road more often, this show went into a hell of a schedule slip. Like, so, you know, and it's partially because of that fatigue. I tried my damnedest. And I even tried to say, hey, look, you know, I got this thing I need to have done. These are the days I need to be able to do it. And while they did try sometimes, it wasn't always the thing. And if it wasn't fatigue, it was like at a place I couldn't get decent Wi-Fi for whatever reason. So, you know, it was one thing or another. So, yeah. So as it stands now, truck driving seems to be one of those things where it's like that it demands more of your time than maybe you're willing to give. And to also clarify, when I am talking about truck driving, I do mean like the over the road stuff, not like your local delivery stuff. Because your local stuff, you could still do some, you know, you could still have other things that you do, but you know, but like the bigger over the road stuff, yeah, that eats up a lot of your time. But yeah, and just so as far as this cap, it's like I see what they're going for, but there are better ways of saying, hey, let's make things safer for our drivers, you know, by allowing them to get the rest that they need and to all of that, you know. Maybe don't overwork your fucking drivers. Drivers should unionize. There's not a truck drivers union.
There isn't?
No, there is not.
That seems like such like a given thing. I guess I never thought about it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it either.
I thought that there was one.
Yeah.
That's weird.
But no, if you're a truck driver and you're listening to this, fucking unionize. Hell, I'll get behind you.
Please make a union.
Yeah.
Please make a union.
I'll tell you what, you know, you get a good union, you get a good truck drivers union that can make a lot of the reforms that we need, like, you know, reasonable driving times, reasonable delivery times, and companies that don't screw over drivers just because they want to take their time unloading or loading your load or what have you. Then, you know, I might hop back in, maybe. Although I would rather hop in with my own equipment that's already paid for, so I don't have that over my head.
Yeah.
And just run for myself. Fuck all y'all. Scully, we're gonna go with you on this one because Astra's made a few points of their own already. What do you have to say about all of this?
Capitalism strikes again.
Sounds about white.
Yeah. Also, like, sleep deprivation ain't all that healthy, to put it lightly. I mean, how about like you said, instead of, you know, making them wear this dystopian ass, you know, sleep deprivation hat, you, give them better hours?
Yeah.
And, you know, hire more truckers?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, and yeah, because the industry has a big turnover rate anyway. Like for every one driver that comes in, there's like 2 going out or something like that. And I pulled those numbers out of my ass. I don't know how true that is, but there's still a huge turnover rate regardless, and just they can make it safer. And if there are companies, and there are companies that can only, like receive loads in the middle of the night. I know, like Walmart distribution centers are like that. They, by and large, they'll receive certain loads in the middle of the night, which in and of itself is not bad, but they can make it easier on drivers who may have to deliver that. Like if I'm picking up a load in, let's say, Laredo, and I have to deliver it to Orlando, that's like a good 2 or 3 day trip right there. Maybe add a 4th day because it's going to have to be delivered overnight, and you can't just drop it and go. They have to unload it. Add a 4th day. That way the driver can get there. They can get as close as they need to. They can get that rest, and then they can start their day, go get that unloaded, and then go on about their way. They'll have the time. That's the way you should do it,
I know most of the supermarkets here have overnight deliveries because my partner, I think I mentioned before, is an out-of-hours GA, which basically means he's a shelf stacker. There's teams, and I think it's common for most of our supermarkets. Most of the filling up is done at night when either the store's shut, which they are at the moment, or when there are less customers around because you can get shit done.
Yeah, and that's valid.
And that being said, I don't think there's anywhere, even like the famous John O'Groats to Land's End, I don't even think that takes more than a day in a truck. It's not a straight shot. There's going to be wibbly wobbly bits and awkward parts to get through. But I don't think there's a single journey in the UK that takes more than 2 days, or by road.
Yeah.
So there's that as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yes to all the unionizing and sleep debt and all the other, don't abuse your stuff that has been covered. But, and I don't know how controversial this but's going to be, some of the tech they're suggesting for the hat does seem kind of interesting, and I'd be interested to see better applications for it.
Yeah, like I said, I get the idea, and wanting to prevent crashes and dozing off drivers. That's a noble thing in and of itself. But the hat, I can see maybe one use of the hat, and that's if somebody is driving overnight, like they choose to drive overnight or what have you. But that would be a voluntary basis.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even then the light itself may not help. The vibrations might. And the sound, depending on what else is going on, that may or may not help. But the light,
I'm also curious. I'm curious to know if it will work on a narcoleptic as well.
Yeah, that is also a good thing. Well, if you're narcoleptic and you're driving at night, that's not if you're narcoleptic, driving may not be for you. At least not long distance driving.
No, I'm just generally wondering: is this a hat that would work for narcoleptics, or would they be immune to it?
That is something I would not necessarily want to test.
Not live, not on a hot situation. No.
No. Oh no.
I do know. I remember. I think I watched. It must have been last year in one of my social classes.
I don't know. Were they down there?
No, they.
Don't worry. I told you if I go quiet, it's because he's woken up and I'm talking to him.
Okay.
In one of my social work classes or a psychology class, I can't remember which one. We watched something that included a dude that had narcolepsy, and he had a caretaker with him. And I don't know why this specific shot has stuck in my brain ever since. But they're walking down the street, and he has a narcolepsy I guess episode. And she helps him
Mm-hmm.
get down to the ground safely so that he doesn't fall and have a concussion or anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what makes it borderline comedic for me is that she puts her coat on top of him like a blanket. And I don't know why, but it's really funny to me to think about. That's just what came to mind because we mentioned narcolepsy, and that's how my brain works.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Also, that's kind of cute though, because he can get cold quite quick. Once your body's at rest, the temperature drops.
Yeah.
That's why you have blankies.
Yeah, I'm currently thankful for the lowering body temperature at night because I am an overwarm individual to begin with. So, and I'm living in Florida. Please help.
Okay, speaking of overwarm individuals, you just reminded me in a weird way. So I have a new person following me on the Twitters, which that's cool. People can follow me if they want to.
Yeah.
This is their profile, and I'm not shaming them. I'm sure they're a lovely, lovely person, but this is what their profile says: horny boys only. A slutty girl for naughty boys. 18, no under 18s. For my premium news, follow me for my OnlyFans. Then details down below. There is nothing in my profile that would suggest that I'm a horny dude.
Wow.
Oh man. Yeah.
it just made me laugh. Like I said, I'm sure they're a lovely person. And good for you. And it's an interesting direct marketing tactic. Just follow random people on Twitter.
Yeah, I've had that happen. That's one of those things. Like, it's been a long time since I've used any kind of dating site, but I remember like on the more adult oriented. By adult, I mean porn oriented. Porn and sex oriented. I would get a lot. There would be a lot of porn bots that would just be like, oh, "Hey, and this and this and this," and like, "Oh, god damn it, stop it." Can I talk to a real person, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just But speaking of things like that, Scully, you've got something that is yeah.
It's something.
Oh, that,
yeah. Okay. This is the headline. Your cock is mine now. Hacker locks internet-connected chastity cage, demands ransom.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out giving an internet-connected device, internet-connected device control of your penis may not be the best idea ever.
You don't say.
Yeah. A hacker took control of people's internet-connected chastity cages and demanded a ransom to be paid in Bitcoin to unlock it.
Bitcoin? Of all things, Bitcoin?
Yeah, apparently so.
Oh.
I didn't actually read the article. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fucking Bitcoin. Your cock is mine now, the hacker told one of the victims, according to a screenshot of the conversation obtained by a security researcher that goes by the name Smelly, and is the founder of VX Underground, a website that collects malware samples. In October of last year, security researchers found that the manufacturer of an Internet of Things chastity cage, a sex toy that users put around their penis to prevent erections, that is used in the BDSM community and can be unlocked remotely, had left an API exposed, giving malicious hackers a chance to take control of the devices. That's exactly what happened, according to a security researcher who obtained screenshots of conversations between the hacker and several victims, and according to victims interviewed by Motherboard. A victim who asked to be identified only as Robert said that he received a message from a hacker demanding a payment of 0.02 Bitcoin, around $750 today, to unlock the device. He realized his cage was definitely locked, and he could not gain access to it. Fortunately, I didn't have this locked on myself while this happened, Robert said in an online chat. That's just an ad thing. I wasn't the owner of the cage anymore, so I didn't have full control over the cage at any given moment, another victim who goes by the name RJ told Motherboard in an online chat. RJ said he got a message from the hacker who said they had control of the cage and wanted a payment to unlock it. These hacks show once again that just because you can connect something to the internet, it doesn't mean you have to, especially if you then don't take care of securing the device or its connection. It's incidents like these that make some people think that the Internet of Things is just a marketing term for the Internet of Hackable Things, as we call it, or even the Internet of Shit, as others call it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation. Chiwi, that's going with. Chewy, the China-based manufacturer of the device, which is aptly called Cellmate, did not respond to a request for a comment. A U.S. distributor said in an email that the flaw that allowed the hacker to lock the victims' cages was fixed in the latest version of the app. Alex Lomas, a security researcher at Pentest Partners, Pentest? I don't know, who audited the Cellmate device, confirmed that some users received the extortion messages and said that this highlights the need for better security practices. Almost every company and product is going to have some kind of vulnerability in its lifetime. Maybe not as bad as this one, but something, Lomas said in an online chat. It's important that all companies have a way for researchers to contact them and that they keep in touch with them. As usual, be careful what devices you trust with your data, or in this case, with your genitals.
Yeah, I'm sitting here because I actually have a device that you can like control like remotely through like either Wi-Fi or what have you. It's not one of these things, just no. But it's one of those things. I'm just sitting there like I'm eyeing it right now. I'm like, yeah, somebody could do that. Like this, they couldn't do much other than just make it really inconvenient for me because it's still fully functional without the other things. So it's like you wouldn't get much out of it. You just really wouldn't. And plus, you can't turn it on remotely. So
yeah.
I do have to wonder about like these chastity devices, though. I'm assuming they have at least something that allows you to pee.
Yeah, most of them do.
Yeah, I would hope so, because that'd be weird.
I actually heard about this like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And looked into it because I was so like I guess enthralled by it. It was just hilarious to me. And so I looked at the stuff, and there does seem to be, I guess, like a slot to pee through.
Yeah.
From what I could see. But I also like saw some people like in some like reports or whatever saying that like they couldn't pee because of it. And I'm like, okay, then how were you doing anything before? Oh man.
So a sentence I never thought I'd have to say, and a possible title for the show. In most analog chastity devices, because apparently we have to make the distinction now. From what I've seen, they either have pee holes. Some of them have structure for sounding. Like I think there is one like you can use a sounding rod. It's designed you can have a sounding rod in it, but you could put a cap on that, so you could use that as a different type of play, which presumably you'd be doing during a scene and therefore being supervised, and presumably the person you're in the scene with has the key and everything to let you out safely. But of all the Internet of Things and everything, digital chastity devices are not something I'd thought of. Now, I've seen, especially on the female side of chastity devices, they have additions into them. Like, you can... Alright, let's just say you can have electrified butt plugs, which gets work for guys and girls. But, so you have devices that attach to, but not necessarily the entire device.
Right.
And yes, there are insertables that can have remote controls, but again, it's an insertable, there's a safe release for it, you just yoink it out.
Yeah.
We don't kink shame on the show. Most of it we may giggle about it.
Yeah.
Because we're sometimes 12, but we don't shame.
Yeah.
So there is a whole subgenre for people, male and female, who like to be locked away for whatever reason that they've agreed with their partner or partners. It doesn't need to be on the internet, people. Well, unless you're sharing it, sharing the photos and videos, that's a different thing. But
I can see
if you've already got the key, I don't know why you'd need it digital. I really don't. But having said that, I didn't read the article, and I didn't know that some of the ones that got locked and threatened, like say, "Give me your money," weren't actually in use at the time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny.
It's like, yeah, your cock now. It's like, my cock's not in there. Fuck yourself, man. I'll throw this away and go get a new one. Shit.
Yeah.
and then you tell your partner later, when they ask what happened to it, well, somebody hacked it, tried to ransom me because they tried to ransom me from my dick, okay?
My favorite part about it is that they literally said, like, your cock is mine now, and it's such like a movie villain line.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny to me.
Yeah, I can understand the appeal of having the whole thing digital. It's easier, you don't have to worry about losing pieces, that sort of thing. You don't have to worry about losing a key. It's all electronic. That having that little bit of control here and there, because like the one I mentioned, you can control it through the net, and I mean there are sex workers who have similar things, and they set it up to where like you pay somebody and they control everything while they're doing their work, and that's fine.
Quick counterpoint to having that kind of device or any device on actual internet. If you're doing close range play, or even like say a few feet or something, Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Not interneted, just Bluetooth it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is one thing I did neglect to mention with the device that I have. It is also Bluetooth enabled too. I did neglect on that one. But,
keep it local.
Yeah.
Keep it local.
Keep it as local as you can. Whenever possible. Because sometimes people long distance have to do things too.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But generally speaking, if it can go on the internet, check if it can go Bluetooth first. Because LDRs are a thing, and that could be hard for people. Fine, but overall, if you can't find an analog solution, then discuss it. But the fact that this actually exists, I'm both surprised and not surprised.
My thing is that I think there should be like a failsafe that should be like readily available, and it didn't seem like this particular device like had one that was easy to get to.
Even like a PIN number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PIN number.
And like the one thing that I saw that like they could do was like release it with like a screwdriver or something like that.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
And it's just like, sure, but you also shouldn't like there should be something like else that should come with it, like physically, that should be able to release that.
Yeah. So I'm just seeing what Michelle put in our green room. Oh no, this is like a breaking thing. Oh no, not like big breaking news. It's definitely like drama, which compared to everything else, this is like light.
No.
and I want to
no.
And I want to look at this, and I want to bring this up because I'm gonna have thoughts on this too. We all are, but I'm pretty sure. But it's a series of TikToks, TikTok screen grabs, and it looks like they went from the bottom up, in order. So, it's from this dude, and we know it's a dude who was like, anyone else feel like women ruined anime? We should have never introduced anime to them. Okay, first of all, I'm going to speak from my own personal experience. Your mileage may vary, but my introduction to anime in the wider sense has been a woman. I've mentioned it on Randime. I'm going to mention it here. Among my first anime just experiences were the Unico movies from the 80s. And they were introduced to me by my mother, who may not have realized when, where, and what at the time, but it's like, hey, these are cartoons. He is child. Sit down in front of the cartoons, child. There you go. My mother introduced me to anime, even if she didn't realize it. And some of the anime that I've been introduced to, is just throughout the years, have been because of at least one woman. At least. Like, I'm into a series called Haregu, which is a really great series, especially if you love just off-the-wall comedy, introduced to me by a woman. Sailor Moon, introduced to me by several women. Several women and one trans man. Let's see. Panty and Stocking, introduced to me by a woman. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Becky was at least one of several people to introduce me to JoJo. So yeah, to say that women ruined anime, no.
It's, part of what I'm thinking is that isn't the creator of Full Metal Alchemist, at least in the manga, isn't that a woman?
Yes.
Maybe? I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hiromu Arakawa.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the most well-known.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to talk about other ones that you may or may not think have been created by women. Clamp. They are a group of women.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones behind Chobits. So yeah, the characterization of Hideki, especially in the manga, it's women. They're the ones who did it. They were aiming for a different audience than what they normally were. Mm-hmm. These are the same women who did Kakyoin Did You Lay This Egg?
I forgot about that.
So
man.
Yeah, women do a lot in anime. So all right. So there's more. Anyone else thinks girls shouldn't watch shonen? They'll never understand the completely... I rented this tongue, apparently. They'll never understand the complexity or relate to it. Again,
to be
Becky,
fair, you have to have an extremely high IQ to understand shonen.
Yeah. Which...
Isn't shonen just like sword and sorcery?
It's more like it's geared towards young boys. Young boys, teenagers.
Yeah, usually like 13 to 16-year-olds, I think, is like the target audience.
Think
like
of
Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball,
Yu-Gi-Oh, and up until part 7, JoJo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've watched the JoJo anime, you're like, wait, this was meant for teenagers? Yes.
So was Evangelion, apparently.
Yeah. So, and even other series like Dr. Stone and Demon Slayer. Those are shonen series as well.
Mm-hmm.
Funny how females are now weaves when they used to bully us for it. No, they didn't. No. Literally no. In fact, most of the anime that I would see in high school, which admittedly wasn't too much, but I would see some. Most of the anime characters that I would see that I now recognize as anime characters, like Hello Kitty or what have you, they were being slung around by girls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you're being made fun of a thing because of something, then maybe it's not because of the thing you like. Maybe it's because you take it a little bit too far. Maybe you're bullying others over it. Maybe you're just an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the thing. And here's the next one. Hot take. We started watching anime as an escape from the real world, while girls do it as a trend. They only watch it for male validation, yet we watch it because it's the only thing that makes us happy for once. Dude! Get help! And I mean this completely seriously. Get help.
Go outside, get a job, do something else.
Get a hobby, just anything.
Like, dude. Just get help, dude. Wow. Women will call themselves weebs even though they've never seen the big three. Hey, guess what? Okay, the big three is what? Like One Piece, Naruto, and Dragon Ball, right?
I think either Dragon Ball or Bleach.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. And guess what? There are a bunch of weebs who say that if any of those are your favorite anime, you're like a poser or whatever they say.
Yeah. And
if those are the only one you've seen, you're not really an anime fan.
Yeah, and let me tell you
this.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, is that similar to like their first 3 albums?
Something like that.
Yes.
So let me tell you this. I have seen plenty of anime series over the years. It's not as diverse as some others, but it's still more diverse than some. I've watched series like Lupin the Third. I've watched the anime adaptation of the Mega Man Battle Network games. I've watched Pokemon.
We will watch Pokemon.
Yeah. You know, I keep up with, you know, and of course I'm watching the series I'm watching for Randime. Oh, wait. Who was it that introduced one of those series? That was Astra.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So, and what was the series that you introduced to us in that show? On Randime? Seraph of the End, which I'm just going to spoil the first episode because it's the first episode. It ends up with most of the cast we're introduced to dying.
Yeah.
I am.
Damn.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Careful you don't cut yourself on that edge.
Yeah, I know, right? And hell, you know what? Speaking of edge, I can even count Attack on Titan as something that was introduced to me by a woman.
Yes.
Just to go back to that a little bit. So, but to get back to the big three, you know, Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. We'll even throw Dragon Ball in just as an honorary fourth. Or an alternate third, I don't know. But I've never really sat down to watch those series. I've seen bits from Dragon Ball. My friend Lacey is a big fan of Dragon Ball. And, you know, and I share like memes of Dragon Ball with her because I know she likes it. But I've never been big into the series itself. I know very little about it outside of reviews, and especially reviews of that one live-action Dragon Ball movie that was a piece of shit. So yeah, you're gonna come at me, buddy. I'm not a woman, but you're gonna come at me because I've never seen the big three, and I don't really care to.
Yeah, me neither.
So you know.
I think I've said on like Randime before, but I really only got into anime stuff when I was probably in like my sophomore year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a junior in college currently, so it hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
And like, I almost don't watch the quote unquote big three out of principle because people are so like insistent, like, oh, you have to watch these, and I'm like, but I don't really want to.
I get that. I like the more popular something is, the less unless it's something I'm already interested in, the more likely I am to resist it.
Yeah.
And I realize there's probably some pettiness to it because I could be missing out on some genuinely good stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll watch it on my own. Like I still haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. I will watch it because it does look interesting. I did accidentally watch one of the first episodes when it was original broadcast, and I just didn't get back to it. But yeah, the whole thing's complete now. I can sit down and watch it at my leisure. I don't need people telling me I've got to watch it.
There you go. I think one of y'all brought up, if your favorite anime is one of these, you're not a true weeb, is another thing this guy said. And then the last thing before he just says he's done, just a disclaimer, if you're a female, don't watch Shonen CNN. Shonen was made for us since we could easily relate to the main character, and y'all watching it ruins the whole purpose. Well, let me see. You know, Shonen is not just male protagonist. I can name 2 bits of shonen material that feature female protagonists. Cutie Honey and fucking JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6. I think Cutie Honey is considered shonen. But but JoJo Part 6 definitely shonen. Definitely stars one female character by the name of Jolene Goddamn Cujo. And yeah, a lot of and oh god, you want to see some people ship? I've seen more women ship characters like Polnareff and Avdol than men I've seen ship, you know. And I may have brought that up because that's exactly who Becky ships. But it's like, you know, stop, whoever this person is, I don't have their name. I don't care to know their name. But if they just so happen to be listening to this and know their words and know what's going on, go fuck yourself with your gatekeeping, asshole. Just go fuck yourself. Enjoy your anime. Enjoy whatever you want. That's fine. And if people are giving you shit over something, then maybe it's because you're an asshole. Simple as that.
Gatekeeping.
Yeah, it's really as simple as that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any final thoughts on that one? Because we just had to do a little bit of drama.
it's just stupid. It's insecurity.
Yeah.
They don't like when women like things too.
Yeah.
I will say I am in fact a non-binary person. But I do feel like this still also applies to me because they would perceive me as a woman.
Yeah.
It's oh man. it's just things that like I think everyone that is like assigned female at birth or is maybe like a trans female or something. It's something that we've heard for forever.
Yeah.
It's such just like nothing bullshit at this point.
Yeah, it's like, and it's like, guys, and I'm specifically talking to the straight guys, or at least guys who also like women. In any case, having a woman, having a cute woman, or a hot woman, or whatever, who is into some of the same shit you are. How do you not see that? How do you see that as anything less but awesome? Like, that gives you something you can talk about. Hell, you can bond over that. Hell, if you're really kinky, you can bring that into the bedroom too if you want. But, I don't know how, because I typically don't.
Cosplay?
There you go, cosplay. That's the thing. That's the thing that exists. But the point is, that is somebody who is not doing it for clout, who's not doing it to get in your pants, definitely not your pants with that attitude, and just enjoys it. You're into the same things. That's fine. I mean, when Becky and I first met, we started talking. I found out, oh, she likes Pokemon. Oh my god, she likes Pokemon. What's her favorite Pokemon? One of her favorite Pokemon is Umbreon. Oh my god! Yay! She likes Mimikyu and Togekiss more, though. Which, that's fair. They're both really good Pokemon. And if you've watched my most recent 2 streams, I've been using a Mimikyu avatar through like that face rig thing because it's just easier. And I need to commission somebody to like do a live 2D thing, but I need to price on it first. I don't know how much that'll be, so I am currently in the market for it, for a custom one.
I think Zen knows a person, so you could ask them.
I might ask her on that one. Yeah.
I don't really have any of my own thoughts because, like I said, I'm not really an anime fan. Although, when we had Mars Girl on, she did confirm that the shows I grew up with in the 80s, specifically Ulysses 31, technically count as anime because, Japanese produced.
Yeah.
But unless Scully's got anything he wants to add, I'm going to end it on Eli's quote.
Okay.
Scully, you got anything? Anything else?
What an insecure little incel.
Yes, and hey, we're not on Twitch. We can say that.
Yes.
Oh man,
that has been also a small running gag on Randime because we are covering Chobits, and one of the running gags in that show is the fact that everybody is Hideki's virginity. It gets lesser the more it goes on, but it's like, but every time I've had to say virgin, I don't go for the simple, I don't go for that. I go for, because of course I do. And that is a cry of an Umbreon, by the way, for those who don't already know. Because I have to be extra like that. Okay, so what is this quote from Eli?
Actually, it ties in very nicely with what Scully said. This person has never been laid in their life.
Yeah, I was like, dude. We'll pool up money if we have to. I almost want to say I'll hire you a sex worker, but I don't know if we want to put them through that.
Just generally, don't gatekeep.
Yeah.
It ain't cool. You're not winning any friends. I bet even your guy friends who've seen this are like, dude, seriously?
Yeah, it's like no. And the ones that aren't like that, they're also problematic. But yeah, so with that, we are gonna go ahead and get out of here this week. Thank you guys for listening. It's been a hell of a ride this week, that's for sure. Astra, thank you so much for agreeing to come on this episode. It is a treat and a delight.
This was fun. I enjoyed this.
Yay!
Hell yeah.
So So even
Yay,
though,
we didn't scare you off.
yeah, so we may not be able to find you on the Twitters, but are there any other places on the internet where we could find you? Should we be wanting to get in touch with you for anything like commissions?
Sorry, I zoned out for like half a second.
That's okay.
Oh, my brain just turned off. I'm gonna give the full email to Gomer to put in the description, and everything. But the email that I use to accept like commissions and talk about them is Astranomicall. It's ASTRANOMICALL.business@gmail.com.
There we go.
Cool. So you don't have a DA or anything like that, where we can look at your art?
Yeah. I do have a card website thing.
All right, cool.
And I can also link that.
That would be perfect.
Mm-hmm. That also has like my commission prices, my terms of service, etc.
Sweet.
Cool.
So yeah.
And for those not looking at the description, what is the card address?
Let me pull it back up. It's been a while since I opened it. Hold on, give me.
Yeah. Oh, I am loving the strides we've taken towards this, because there's Linktree, there's card, and it's like, it's so great. All your links in one place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we used to call them web pages.
Oh man, yeah, it's just Astranomicall. Again, ASTRANOMICALL with 2 R's.co.
Sweet. And all their information will be there. And I'll make sure to put the direct email address if you still want in the description.
Yeah.
Well. So Scully, if we want to find you on the internet, where could we find you?
I finally got a link tree. It's linktr.ee/Scolipendra.
Sweet. And I shall make sure to update the doobly-doo for it. I'll make sure that is updated. And Michelle, how about you?
Again, Linktree, linktr.ee/Phoenix11 that has my Twitter and my YouTube and my Patreon if anyone wants to. And again, I am a partner on Humble Bundle, which is $partner equals Phoenix 11.
Sweet. And so for me, you can find all of my links to like my Twitter, my Facebook public Facebook fan page, and Twitch and Instagram, where I post a lot of shiny Pokemon that I capture. I actually need to make another post because I hatched a shiny Corsola earlier. So that's cool. Actually, 2 of them today. I've hatched 2 of them today. And I'll explain how, like, in another thing. But those will be on the Instagram. Tumblr. There's also a new one called Space Hay, which is basically revamped MySpace. Which
I was going to say about that. So my thought about that was like, okay, I never had MySpace, so I never really bothered with it. But that title, that Space Hay, sounds like a parody title you'd get in The Simpsons or something like that.
Yeah,
like they have MyPad or YouTube or something like that. That sounds like a parody title, not an actual website.
Yeah, but it is. And I've got a profile on there. It's already in the link tree. I discovered it through Magdalene Rose, who's also on there. And she is good people. You should go watch her videos. Like I said, everything is in the link tree, including links to podcasts like the YouTube channel, the Anchor page for the podcast where everything goes up, and of course my own Patreon and Anchor support links as well. And it would be nice to have more people on the Patreon. That would be certain. Thankful for who's there. I'm thankful for who's there. We can always grow, and I hope we do.
Yeah.
And to all patrons who are there, thank you. That includes Scolipendra. Thank you, man. But yeah, no matter whose Patreon you give to, mine, Michelle's, anybody's. I'm pretty sure I can speak for most of us by saying even just $1 a month, it really does mean a lot.
It does.
My minimum's at $2 just because tax.
Yeah, that's fair. But even if you can only give the minimum, it's something. And not only does it, start chipping together to help monetarily, also good for the ego and good for the soul, lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is it. We are gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, this is Gomer, the Ranting Thespian, with Scolipendra, Michelle, and Astra, signing off.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.